Hello and welcome to this demo. In this demo we would be looking at some basic package deployment methodologies that is provided by SQL Server Integration Services. So in your entire development process you must have built packages, you have configured your tasks, etc. You have some configuration files, .config files, .xml files, etc. So after you build your package, you need to now put this in a staging environment or a production environment. So there are certain methods to do this. So let's just start with the very basics. Let's just fire up bids and I'll create a new project. And call this as SSIS deployment. So let's just create a new package which does a very simple task of actually getting some data from an Excel file and pushing it to a SQL database. So this would be essentially the same steps that we followed in our first demo. Right, let's go to our data flow and let me just drag and drop an Excel source. And also I need a OLADB destination. So I'll just right click on the Excel source, click on edit and configure Excel. I need to create a connection manager. I'll browse to my Excel file, choose the appropriate version, click on OK, and I'll select my Excel sheet. So if I preview, I'll get a preview of the data. I'll click on OK. I'll connect the source to the destination. Again, right click and click on edit, create a new connection manager and I'll create a new table and I'll call this table as say SSIS deployment. Fine. So we have our mappings intact. I'll click on OK. So we have a very basic package ready with us today. So now what we are going to do is we are going to explore the properties of this package. So if you find the options that is provided by the deployment utility, you can configure three sections over here. One is allow configuration changes. So this basically is a good practice to set it true if basically it indicates whether your package configurations can be changed during deployment or not. The second is create deployment utility. So this indicates whether the build process creates a deployment utility. So in our example we would like this to create a deployment utility. So I'm going to set this to true and I'm going to keep the deployment output path as it is. Let me click apply and click on OK. So our basic configuration is ready over here. So I'll just build this, Control Shift B, and my build is successful. So if I navigate to my file system where I have created this, as SSIS deployment, here I'll find a bin folder and there you'll find the deployment folder which has the DTSX file and the manifest file. So essentially you will be taking this deployment folder to your production environment. So once we have this manifest file, we could just double click on this. So it will pop up a small wizard. This is the package installation wizard. So let us just run this through. So here it gives us two options. One is the file system deployment and the second is SQL Server deployment. So we'll look at both of them. In the first, let us look at a file system deployment. Click on next. So it basically asks me the path where this file would be deployed. So I'm fine with this path. I'll click on next. So this is just a confirm installation, and it gives me a summary of the settings that I just made. I click on finish. So if I navigate to this path, I'd find that my DTSX file has been pushed to this location. Also note that there is no manifest file now in this particular location. Also, you could deploy this to a database. I'll just double click on this same manifest file, and this time let me choose SQL Server deployment. So I need to supply a server name, so I'll give my server name. And I need to give the package path. Looks like an issue over here. Let me just try again. Okay, looks like I used the wrong slash. Alright, so I need to give a path for this. So I'll choose this default path. Click on next. And it's going to install in the same location. Click on next. I'll click on finish. So I'll just fire up my management studio. And I'll also connect to my integration services. So here in file system you could actually see your deployed packages. So let me just right click. So we'll have a number of options over here. To keep it simple, I'm just going to run this package for now. So I need to supply a certain number of parameters. I need to configure certain stuff over here. So if I go to my connection managers, it has detected the two connection manager that it requires. So let me just go ahead with these two, and I'm going to just keep the rest of the things as it is for now, and let me just execute this. So it has finished executing.